Hi friends, it's Cyberfairy. Oh my god, my fan's so freaking loud. I put a little scarf over it. Maybe we can put something over it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about it's chocolate, my music, and the inspiration for my music, for my songs, and yeah, basically tell you why I wrote them, and then we're gonna watch my music videos and talk about the inspiration for the videos. Oh my god, oh, macadamias. I'm just gonna enjoy this a little bit. Hopefully people will come. Hi, nice to see you. So we're gonna talk about my music today. And it's weird I can't see any viewers, but apparently you're here. Let me see if the chat works. Yeah, please chat to me. I'm gonna basically tell you about my songs and tell you about the inspiration for them, and then talk about the inspiration for the videos, and then we can watch them and you can critique them, and I give you permission to be truthful. You don't have to be nice. You can be nice, but you don't have to be nice. You know what I mean? You can roast me a little bit. So yeah, let's talk about my first song. My first song is All That Light that we're gonna look at. I wrote this like so long ago, years ago. I started producing music when I was like 27, and I never really had been into music before. Like I did a little bit of guitar and violin when I was a kid. But I didn't have a musical family in that they played instruments, but we loved music. There was always music playing in our house, like psychedelic rock and stuff like that. So it was such a thing, you know, it had there were so many powerful memories associated to songs and stuff from my childhood. But I never thought I was going to make music. And then when I wanted to, I was like, what? How am I going to do this? So I just started teaching myself. And it was hard, you know, to figure it all out, but I definitely had a passion for it. But this song in particular, All That Light, basically, I wrote it, and then I think I was in Hawaii, and I was like, you know, I want to take my music to the next level. So I hired this guy, Varti, who I work with quite a bit. You can look him up on my channel, to produce it. So I am a producer, but this one is from years ago. I didn't produce this one. I produced the skeleton, and then I kind of basically gave it to the producer to work on. The singing and vocals are mine. And the idea behind it, like, is basically, you know, okay, like, you know, if you're like an indigo or a starseed and you have so much energy and you just can't fit into the mold, you can't fit into the matrix, no matter how hard you try. You're a higher dimensional being, and I'm like, I can't fit in, and you're not meant to fit in. You're meant to bring that higher dimensional energy into this world and share your light. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna write a cool rap, and it's gonna be like really catchy and poppy, and it worked out. So yeah, let's go look at the music video. Okay. 1 second. It's all primed. Okay. Let me see if I can get this going. Wait. Okay. Yay. So we're gonna watch a music video soon. This one's from a few years ago. Do I have chocolate in my teeth? I don't know. And I wanted to do like something epic. I wanted to do something like crazy epic because I had made a little, a few little art videos before, but I'd just gotten people to help me, friends and stuff. And you can only ask friends so many times and they're like, okay, I'm done with your projects, your vanity projects. I tell them it's not vanity, it's like my soul and stuff like that. But anyway, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get one of my best friends, Ken Heinz, who's also Buck Money, his rap name. We went to film school together. We became really good friends. Past life friends probably. And I was like telling him about this idea. He was like, okay, I want to help you make this. And so he helped film it. And then I hired another film guy. Can't remember his name, but you can see in the credits. So let me see. I can just look right now. Stuart Redelac. He was another director of photography. Let's see what it looks like here. Okay. And I got all my friends together. I hired some actors, some like dancers, and I was like, show me your moves. So like, let's make this video. And we all got together at this park in Coquitlam near my home. And we we just did it all in one day. Basically, we kind of the dancers like choreographed their own dances before to this part, so they were amazing. They sent me videos and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, it's great, anything is great. But yeah, they were like so into it. I was so happy. And I bought all this Indian like dust, well, maybe it's not Indian, or maybe it was dust, like colored dust that when in India they have those color fights, or we do those runs and we throw all the dust, or we have those raves. So I bought all this dust, and we basically had this crazy color fight, and it was fun. So yeah, that's kind of the behind the scenes. And it was just like, share your light. It's like very wholesome. It's like my most wholesome song probably. So let's watch it, and then you guys can critique it. I'm gonna put it on 720p because 1080 was kind of freezing. We'll see. We'll do our best to see if it works. Okay, it's kind of working. I'll move me out of the way. Okay, wait. We'll give it a minute. Wait. Yay! It's a really happy song. Let me just turn off my audio, my Yeti. There we go. Okay, and then I'll chat to you.
Keep running when there is no end. To pretend that we're not friends. Stuck inside the same machine. Holographic dream from a movie scene. You gotta make a move, or are you?
Okay, it keeps freezing. Just 1 second.
Won't go far. You won't go far. Try. What you gonna do with all that light?
Is it freezing? Is it freezing for you? Anyway, we'll.
It's much too bright, it's just not right. I'm gonna put it in a box for you so it looks real nice, lights up your room. What you gonna do with all that light? It's much too bright, it's just not right. I'm gonna put it in a box for you so it looks real nice, lights up your room. And when you get the courage to sing, it's gonna disappear, what a funny thing. Not a prisoner in this bed, on a locked doors and walls, yeah, we're never gonna do with all that light? It's much too bright, it's just not right. I'm gonna put it in a box for you so it looks real nice, lights up your room. Close your eyes, child, you were born wild and free. Close your eyes, child, look inside and learn to see. What you gonna do with all that light? It's much too bright, it's just not right. I'm gonna put it in a box for you so it looks real nice, lights up your room. What you gonna do with all that light? It's much too bright, it's just not right. I'm gonna put it in a box for you so it looks real nice, lights up your room. What you gonna do with all that light? It's much too bright, it's just not right. I'm gonna put it in a box for you so it looks real nice, lights up your room. What you gonna do with all that light? It's much too bright, it's just not right. I'm gonna put it in a box for you so it looks real nice, lights up your room.
Yeah, so that was it. It was a fun one. I forgot my friend's name in the credits. Um, we should talk about next. Let's go to my channel. I put a lot of effort into that one. It was fun. It was awesome. I was like so inspired. It's funny. Creation is funny. Like, you get so inspired by things. You're like, oh my god, this is gonna be the most amazing thing, and maybe you kind of like fall out of it and go into something else, or maybe you're not even trying and then something else comes through. It's like you just have to kind of go with it. I used to be such a control freak, but the less you kind of think that things are coming from you and you just kind of open yourself to the divine to let everything move through, then it's great. We'll do a little bit of a darker song next. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. I don't like talk about my music. I've been kind of like new to music, so I'm like, am I good enough? But now I'm like, you know what? I have been practicing for so freaking long, and I've like, when I first started singing and stuff, I didn't sing in very in tune. I couldn't hear notes. I had no music theory, but now like I feel pretty confident in myself, and my style is a little weird. I am a little weird, but you know what? I think being unique is good, and I'm just gonna own it. Breezy and beautiful conduit streams. Thanks for joining, you guys. Darker music, yeah. We're going to the dark side. Yeah, this next song is called Snake Venom. Super freeing. Yeah, I encourage you guys to create, even if you don't think it's good. It doesn't matter. It heals your heart, right? It makes you feel so powerful to just share from your heart. It's like, it's gonna make me cry. You know, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Give me a moment. You know, I was told, like, I was so suppressed when I was younger. I should look in the camera. I was so suppressed when I was younger and like told like, you're never gonna amount to anything, and it was just like so much hatred and abuse. And so like it was really hard for me to open up and share. But maybe I had to go through that so I could appreciate the gifts and stuff. I don't know, but yeah, don't listen to other people like tell you you can't share, or like it has to be perfect. Like, you just gotta share, because that's, you know, you have so many gifts, and you, like, God or the universe wants you to share, you know what I mean? Cook. I'm just gonna call you Effie. I'm gonna call you Effie. I've written songs, lyrics at my lowest points in life, but never made it into anything. You know what? Some of my best songs came from the saddest points in my life too. It's like, I don't know what to do, and the only thing I can do is write. My suggestion would be look up some songwriting structure. I actually have some courses for free. If you join Enter Satoriya, it's like a spiritual community, sacred. It's like a social media community. It's a membership site, but you can join for 1 month free. I have all my courses there for free, and I have a music course called Sacred the Academy of Sacred Sound. I put it there for free. It's all about singing and songwriting. I'm not trying to like sell you, but if you do want to learn about like how to write songs and channel songs, it's a really, really great resource in there. I'll tell you the website and then we won't talk about it again. But yeah, it's such a freeing thing. But having a little bit of like structure, like knowing proper song structure and like having a little bit of theory, like learn, like I always do vocal warm-ups before I sing, and it just helps so much. Like if you think about music as something like not personal, and it's more like you're just a tool, and you just have to tune yourself. You just have to like open your body, and then if you're doing production, you have to like learn the tools, and it's not so scary, you know. It's not so scary. Or if you don't want to join the community, if you're like weird about spiritual stuff, that's totally fine. I also have it on Udemy. You can look up Christina Martin or Psyberfairy on Udemy, and I have the course there. But I promise the spiritual stuff isn't scary. Okay. So yeah, we're going to talk about this more dark. We're going to the dark side. We're going to talk about the one of my, yeah. Oh my God. Let's fix my camera. I'm using my webcam, so the quality is not as good, but it won't run out, so we can talk forever. We can talk forever. Okay. Yeah, this song I wrote when I was in a very, very low place. And I had just been ghosted by someone who we weren't dating, but like, you know, when you fall in love with people you shouldn't, and they're like toxic, but you just like love them. What was that last part of the course? Udemy.com. Just look up. You know what? I'll just look it up quickly and paste it. 1 second. I'll just talk to you though. 1 second. Here we go. So yeah, I'll link if you the free music course. It's Enter Satoria. Enter Satoria is the infamous bathtub. It's back. Enter Satoria is my social media site. It's like it's a private community, and I just opened it up again. It used to be really big back in the day when I was a spiritual teacher, but now I'm just a rock star. Just kidding. I opened it up again because I was sick of the censorship. And you can literally go there. You can sign up for a 1 month free trial, and you can just take the course and leave if you don't like it, or you can stick around. You can create your own groups, and you can do whatever you want there. The only rule is you have to be kind. It's like a sacred space kind of thing, you know. You can't like shit on other people, but you can have your opinions, and we can talk freely. Like you don't have to adhere to the mainstream narrative. I want people to have an open place to express themselves, without fear of getting canceled. You know what I mean? Yeah, rockstar. Okay, so back to the dark side. Where were we? Now I'm all fired up. Okay, what's in my mysterious juice, you ask? It's actually just juice. Maybe there's a tiny bit of sake. I don't know. Okay, so I was really, really sad. I got ghosted by this guy. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Casey. I'm still that person, but I'm just teaching through more playful means now. Of course, I'm always going to be sharing my light, you know. It means a lot to me. I was so egotistical back in the day. I was like power hungry. I'm like, everybody needs to know who I am. Now I'm more like chill, kind of. So yeah, I was ghosted by this guy. He was a tattoo artist, and I like fell in love with him. But maybe it wasn't him. You know, when you have like trauma bonds with people, like you almost like have the same pain or something like that, and it's like it's so toxic, but it's so intense. It's like a drug. And after he ghosted me, it brought up some pain within me from my childhood that I didn't know I was suppressing still, and I fell into a depression and a darkness. And it was his energy. He had a very dark, like demonic energy. He had a lot of demonic forces with him. I don't know why was I hanging out with him. I don't know. I was in a dark place. But yeah, it sent me into this like pit of despair, and I couldn't get out of it for like 3 months. And all the spiritual work I tried to do, like it was like such a heavy place. And the only thing I could do was write music. So I wrote this song, and it did make me feel a little better, but I did make more mistakes. to learn and like heal my issues. And so yeah, he was actually a drug addict, and he basically like didn't hang out with me to go do drugs. And I know it's not personal, but it's like another relationship. And also he was going out with this girl, and then I was like in such a jealous, crazy place. Like I was like nuts. I was like talking to his friends on Instagram, and then I found the girl, and like we followed each other, and I saw pictures of the guy with the girl after he had ghosted me. I had no idea where he was. I didn't know if he was dead. I was like, oh, like here. I was just, there was no control there. The universe was obviously protecting me and being like, this is not the person for you. Like, let it go. But I just couldn't. I don't know. And this song's about that experience. Like, does he even deserve this? No. But it did affect me. And it wasn't just him, right? The people in our lives, they trigger us, and they trigger trauma responses within us. And it, honestly, this was about like things in my childhood as well, because I had some family members who were into drugs and things, and I have abandonment issues and daddy issues probably, which I'm working on, but you know, you do what you can. And yeah, it's about more than that. So people think like, oh, are your songs about one person? And maybe, but at the same time, they're more like just about feelings and emotions. And maybe they're about like a couple people, or like a trauma that this person triggered that was from childhood. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not so black and white with art for me. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Let's just listen to the song. I don't have a music video for this yet. I did make a weird bathtub video, but it was like kind of cheesy in the infamous tub. And I made a weird dancing video, but I looked insane. Like, just, I looked like some like, I looked intense. I was like obsessed with being like strong. And I didn't like, now I'm like, oh my God, I seem like a freaking like an orc or a demon or something. I'm like, okay, let's be more feminine. But you know, there's nothing wrong with being strong, but like, I didn't want to like scare people away. But I could make a video for this song. It deserves, it's such a powerful song. I worked with one of my childhood friends, Conrad, who's a music producer, and we would go to like hip hop shows together with all our friends, and you know, sit around and get high and stuff. Don't do drugs, but you know, that's what we were doing back in the day. And later on, we worked together when we were older, and he has a studio, and he's like a producer and stuff. And yeah, it worked out. The production quality is really good, and it does deserve something good. So yeah, if you guys ever are like, oh, you know what, this song, that would be such a good music video, and you have an idea, you can just tell me, because yeah, this is why I'm doing this today too. I wanted to share some of my new songs and get your input to basically ask you like, what ideas or images do you see when you listen to this. Like, it's always interesting to discover how music affects people, personally. Like, what does it do for you? Like, what images does it make you see? What emotions does it make you feel? So yeah, I have a few songs I'm kind of interested in making music videos for, but I want your help. And it'd be fun to be more collaborative. But let's just listen to the song. That's my favorite part. That little like weird electronic noises. I produced this song. Okay. I don't listen to that song a lot because it makes me kind of sad. Yeah, everyone likes my low voice. People like, I notice when I do my high falsetto voice, people are like, ah, that's so intense. Like, especially people with like demonic attachments, they're like, don't, you're burning the demons. Yeah, I was trying to be like jazzy. Yeah, I don't know what I would do for a music video. Something like really dark, maybe vampires or something like that. I'm obsessed with vampires. Like, I am obsessed with vampires. I loved okay, not Twilight. You know what I mean? Like, I read it, even though I hate it. Okay, I tried reading it. I'm like, this is trash. And then the movie came out. I was like, I guess I'll get through it. And it was sucked, but I read it. Anne Rice is like the best vampire books. Interview with the Vampire. And yeah, I wrote a few vampire books, but they're secret. Yeah. Feel free to let me know your thoughts and stuff. Let's see. What's next? That's a good song. It's kind of like a nice, trippy medicine music song. Maybe we'll listen to a little bit of that. Because they're kind of long. My face. It probably was like, I don't know. Maybe we'll go back to the media source for a little bit. There we go. Cat the bell. Wow, that's crazy. Wake Me is the Wake Me Transvibe, yeah. Wake Me is the sequel to that. I wrote it when I was older, but it's really hard to find on Amazon. I also have a secret book under Psyberfairy as two names called Luceria, and it's like an erotic alien book. No one knows about that one. And I'm gonna put out a fantasy book, but I think I'm gonna put it out under Christina Martine just because I have that fifth dimensional healing. It's like pretty popular because yeah, it's like a fairy book. It's like an epic fantasy. I want to get someone to ghostwrite it. It's gonna be epic. I've just been putting it off. Anyway, back to the music. The next song, Strawberry Blues. I wrote it on the Sagittarius moon, and the Sagittarius moon is actually not the strawberry moon. I made a mistake, which is hilarious. Let me figure out what it's called. The native name. 1 second. I think the strawberry moon is the Capricorn moon or something like that. I'm just trying to look it up. 1 second. Like the full moons, you know what I mean? They have native names. I'm just trying to figure that out. What would that be? September would be the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. No. Okay. Okay, the opposite of Sagittarius is the Gemini. Would be the. So, when would the Sagittarius full moon be? Anyway, maybe it was right. It was in the summer. Maybe it was the strawberry moon. I'll figure that out later. Now I really want to know. Sagittarius. So yeah, maybe it was right. Maybe I was right. Okay. Anyway, it was the full moon, strawberry full moon, Sagittarius full moon, and I was really like upset, and I had a fight with my friend. She was a Cancer. She is a Cancer. We're friends now again, but we were really triggering each other, and we were both like having issues with like drinking, and I've fallen into a lot of dark holes in my life, and like I'm kind of an intense person. Not everybody is like confident, like telling me off or like telling me I need help, and I'm very stubborn. So I guess sometimes I need stubborn people to come and like tell me like I'm messed up. And yeah, it was just like this whole, I got triggered and we stopped talking. And what is that? What does that say? It's alien code. Anyway. Yeah, and I was really upset, and it was Sagittarius moon, strawberry moon, and I made this trance song, and I was just like into making kind of like medicine music and howling like a wolf. This is what came about from it. So yeah, we'll go back to the song, and yeah, we'll just take a little listen. We maybe won't listen to the whole thing, but and this is when I was starting to produce for myself, but I get people to mix for me. So don't think you have to do it all alone, right? My partner came home with a bag of chocolate for me. Isn't that nice? I'm lucky. A Cancer. They're so nice. Yeah, so that's that song. Let's go back to the media source. I don't know if it's loud. I think you can control the lyrics, but yeah, you can probably hear me still. Yeah, I was trying to be more dancey. it was like I'm into Deodoba. She's like a medicine music kind of singer, and I just like howling. It's so fun. It's like so freeing. It's kind of shamanic. It's like shamanic trance. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Also, there's no music video for this one. I feel like I don't have to make epic art videos all the time. I could just make I don't have to make epic music videos all the time. I could just make an art video, like a fashion video. I could just wear cool clothes and like walk through the city and be like, trance, trance. Oh, I bit my tongue. Go in there. Okay, what's next? Also, yeah, if you ever think of an idea or like, oh, that'd be so cool for this, just let me know, like, what you want to see. I'm trying to get your ideas for like what I could do with my projects, like what I could turn them into. If you're like, oh, that would be cool with an animation or something, or like, oh, that'd be really good with like, you know, if you have an idea you want to see, you can just tell me. I'm kind of open. I want your opinions. And tell me how things make you feel. I want to know. You know what I mean? I want to know how things make you feel. Because when I'm making music, even when it's sad, it's like truth, you know? It's like truth. It just it opens my heart, and it's like an outpouring of truth. And I just hope that you feel like something. Hope you feel that. Okay. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun. Okay, the next song is called Lyran Priestess, and it's kind of dark. A lot of my music is dark because it's a way I express. It's a form of catharsis for me, and I just had a lot of trauma, I guess, and I was just like processing it, and music was like my outlet. I do write happy songs and they're good, but I think my pain has sometimes produced some of my most powerful art. That's not to say that's not to say like you can't write about happy things, but yeah, that's just has been my path. But yeah, Lyran Priestess I don't even know what I was upset about. I love dark music, F says. FV. Yeah, I do too. I like dark music, and it doesn't mean that you're dark. It's just like, it's a fun vibration sometimes. It doesn't make you unspiritual. If you're listening to it all the time, and it's like, then it's kind of like dangerous because you're kind of getting programmed by some messages and stuff, but it's fun to play with. I don't know what I was upset at, probably a boy or something. I think, I was just mad about giving my power away to someone, like sleeping with someone or something who didn't care about me, or like, whatever. The same old story repeating until you learn your lessons. But I was like, I work with spirits when I make music, and I treat my music very like ritually, and I do lots of magic and stuff. And I was working with this voodoo like witch, basically. And she's like a voodoo goddess of love. She's not like she's like different aspects, like just all women. We have like dark aspects, but she's kind of like she's like an African version of Aphrodite, I guess you could say. I think her name's Arzuli. I can't remember. Yeah, Arzuli. And you can like call her in with like rum and sweets and stuff, and like, so yeah, I was kind of singing like her. I was like rapping and like had this kind of like flavor, and she kind of like, I guess I allowed myself to become possessed for a little bit. You have to be careful with that too. You have to like really know how to work with energy. I wouldn't suggest you channeling spirits if you don't first do meditation. I've always known I was a channel though, and I've been working with all my life. Like, it was really overwhelming when I was little, when I was a teenager, because I didn't know how to control the stream, and I would just receive insights all the time. But now I can kind of close it and open it. But anyway, yeah, magic is real, spirits exist, and they do want to work with you. You just have to be really centered and grounded to do it properly, and like not get overwhelmed. Yeah, so let's play the song. This is a music video. I did make a music video for this, and I had my partner at the time help me film, and then I also had my friend help me film the fire stuff because he likes fire. And I just wanted to be like a badass. Just almost like I was wearing horns, but I don't know, I don't really know my intention. I think I was like a djinn or something, or like a dragon, or I don't know, I was like some forest entity or something like that. I wasn't necessarily like something evil, but it was what it was. The filming's not the best because it wasn't professional, but it's still a good video. It's, yeah. Oh yeah, so I did produce this one, and I sang and did the vocals and stuff, and I actually went into the studio. I work with this guy called Eric Shea. He's a studio in Vancouver, or he has access to one in Vancouver, this like crazy big one that the school owns, with this huge mixing board, so it felt like being on a spaceship. My home. And I went into the booth and stuff, and it was fun. You don't have as much control though, and I feel like I did do better at home because I'm like in my own secret little space, and you know, you get more control over things and stuff like that. But it was fun. This was the first time we made together, and honestly, it is pretty fun. It's like really fun to go bike riding too. It's like a little rap song. Let's just play it.
I'm a lion, priest is a feast on your weakness. Look at I'm a queen, but I'm a beast. I'm a beast, like a ninja. I'm a queen up in your room for the hell. Ain't no fear when I'm here, like a matador. Get your boy when you're dripping and you're sitting there. It's getting nice, and we look like a king. Give them a joy like a fire. This is not quite right up at the eyes. When you look, you get the hypnotized. You know that shit goes deep inside you. I know where life to fight. Getting gold, getting scars, getting souls, getting hours. What you need, you got to know your power. So she a demon, but you feeding off a light. It is right. Say you stay, but you die with your life. I said celestial, first serpentine, empress fell into the darkness, but I'm over your. I'm a messenger, like a drinking blood when you sleep, like a hyena. Ain't no fear when I'm here, I'm a warrior. Told you good, but I'm magic, now you're tripping, bro. He's saluting and he's shooting when I tell him to. Blood dripping from my lips like a mountain. When you play with fire, you will get burned. When you fuck with an angel, you will be scarred. This midnight's not quite right up at the eyes. When you look, you get the hypnotized. You know that shit goes deep inside you. I know where life to fight. Getting gold, getting scars, getting souls, getting hours. What you need, you got to know your power. So she a demon, but you're feeding off a light. It is right. Say you stay, but you die with your life. This midnight's not quite right up at the eyes. When you look, you get the hypnotized. You know that shit goes deep inside you. I know where life to fight. Getting gold, getting scars, getting souls, getting hours. What you need, you got to know your power. So she a demon, but you're feeding off a light. It is right. Say you stay, but you die with your life.
Yeah, it's the element of fire. That's the horns too. You know what I mean? Like the horns are like Aries and you know, dragons and things like that. And now that I'm looking at it, like it is kind of demonic. It's almost like a troll, like a forest troll or something like that. And trolls aren't necessarily dark beings. I sometimes think I am a troll. Like more like a mystical, like mage, like shamanic one, who just like, oh my god, who just like lives in the like the woods and people come to visit me or something like that. But anyway, this is a little side note. Let's go back to the media source. Let's go back into space. It's cool. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, also I kind of definitely invoked Lilith for that too. She's a goddess I work with, and people think she's a demon, but it's probably just the church and the patriarchy being like, oh, don't work with her. She's a demon. Like literally the same woman who's made from the same stuff as Adam, who's an equal to Adam. Like men and women are equal, they're just different. Like, you know, demonized. You know what I mean? So I like working with Lilith, and I think she kind of whispered some of those lyrics into my ear. And also, yeah, one of the ending lyric in the chorus, like, says she a demon, but you feed enough for light, it isn't right. So you slay him, but you pain with your life. It's like, okay, men want to sleep with you, but why, right? It's like, well, they want to slay you, but what are they doing? They're giving away their life force. So they're giving away their most precious commodity. Yes, they're kind of giving you their pain and stuff, but women have the power to take that pain and turn it into power. We're so intense that way. So it's almost like they're just draining their force into women, and as demons we can just eat that shit up. Anyway, yeah, but that was not the message. I was just joking there. What was I saying? Like, yeah, as women, we have the power to transmute things and stuff like that. But we have to be like, you know, we have to realize our boundaries are sacred and stuff too. And, you know, we're just as bad sometimes. So there's nothing against men. It's just, but what I've been going through and like the suppression of the feminine, I'm just like talking about the rise of the feminine in my music. I don't hate men. I love them. I've just had a lot of issues in relationships, and there's been a lot of abuse of power on both sides, on my side as well. And I'm learning. Anywho, okay, what's the next? I do like that one quite a bit. It was fun to make. A fun rap song, just a fun little rap song. Let's see. Yeah, this is another song. It's called I Got a Girlfriend, and it is a rap about cannabis. It's okay. Also, I was obsessed with someone. I'm not gonna say who. And it wasn't even like love. It was just like, I don't know. You know when people give you certain feelings, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with this person. I love this person. I want to be with them, but you can't say because there's like an obvious like I don't want to be with you vibe coming from them, and so you just like admire them from afar. And you're like, ah. I just give my power away like that. I used to, not anymore, but I used to so much to people who I admired. I'm just like, you're worthy of my love. And so I wrote a song about that feeling you get, like that Kundalini activation, that like sensual force. And it's kind of like a sweet song because it's about like running away with someone, being free to be in love and stuff like that. And just, you know, yeah, let's just listen to it. This one was also produced by me. I went to studio with Eric, and yeah. I don't know who mixed mastered this song. For Lyran Priestess, it was mastered by Christian Montano, who's really good at mastering. But this one, I think Eric just mastered it. I don't know. Let's watch it. And yeah, me and my friend Ken, who I went to music school with Buck Money, we just went out to a place in Vancouver, and we found this really colorful place. Like, just made a little video really quickly. And I was like trying to be like a cyberpunk person, I guess. I don't know.
You know I want you to want me. Do you want me to want you to? I want you to. I do, I do. Psyberfairy, she's quite contrary. Oh my god, she just broke through the window. I'm in my joyful fun, wasted time. So it's got big visions flowing, then I lose control. What is you and what is me, or what is it we're meant to be? I close my eyes and all I stop and start to wonder if I wanted to that place where I'll end. So you feel this man, I love it as my friend. The snake's gonna not love in my body. Gotta lay down, feel it running nutty. Put your hands on my back, slide down, feel the flow, cross the measure, purify my soul. Feel the fire moving up my spine. You inhale all that light divine. I wanna show you what it's like to let go. Right into the feeling that is growing in me, know it, baby. I want you to want me. Do you want me to want you to? I want you to. I do. We could go to a place, we have time and space. Make a body erase, and my name's in the day. You and I will escape. Reason why I'm back to a city in the sky where I shine. Her name is Mary, she's quite contrary. Oh my god, she just crossed through the window. On my yes, I realize I see no lies. I realize I listen and you were meant to tell that was true. What is you and what is me, or what is it we're meant to be? I close my eyes and all I start to wonder. I wanted to the place where all it ends. Will you be this one I love it as my friend? Snakes gonna all over my body. Gotta lay down, feeling really nutty. Put your hands on my back, slide down. Feel the flow, crystal magic purifying my soul. Feel the fire moving up my spine. You inhale that light divine. I wanna show you what it's like to let go. Surrender to the feeling that is growing, and you know, baby. I want you to want me. Do you want me to want you to? I want you to. I do. We can go to a place, beyond time, beyond space. Make a bar, and race, and my name's on the day. You and I will escape. But with him on the plane to a city in the sky where all has shine. Got a company, her name is Mary. She's quite contrary. Oh my god, and she just broke through the window. I'm like, yes, I'm fun. So the sky big, this flows and lose control. What is you and what is me, or what is it we're meant to be? I close my eyes and all I step to start to wonder if I wanted to know the place where I'll end. Will you be this man, love it as my friend?
Okay. I also forgot that, you know, that children's rhyme, like Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With blah, 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 and cottontails, blah, 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 bluebells all in a row. I think it's I think it's a nursery rhyme about war or something like that. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a fun little, like, nursery rhyme that we could turn into a rap. And then my friend Jeremy Garner, who's like a really powerful magician and writer, he was like, oh, Pixies love this song, they always sing it in one of his books. I was like, oh, that's so interesting, huh? Resonate with Pixies quite a bit. They're like little, like, tricksy toy maker, like, fairies. And yeah, it's also like I wanted it to have like a Middle Eastern vibe, like a and I think there's a Japanese flute in it, like it was just a sample. Anyone who says adding samples to music, it sucks. Like, you can totally add samples. Like, I do a lot of my own synths and stuff. You gotta make your own melodies because it gets kind of boring, you know, using other people's. But yeah, you can totally like add little samples sometimes. Like, no one's gonna. People who judge you for that are just like silly, you know. In my opinion, but whatever. That's just my opinion. But yeah, there's like a little flute, and it's kind of like the piper, like, come little children. That's just... Oh my god, we knocked over the Buddha. Oh my god. We knocked over my Buddha. I got a little too excited there. Sorry, buddy. The Buddha's like, settle down. You're going too crazy. He's totes right. Totes. Oh yeah, I'm wearing this scarf because I didn't want my arms are like look really weird and my, you know, my skin's all like messed up. So I'm just putting this here to make myself look better. Okay, what's next? We're going to look at what should we look at? The Source of Your Power is a good video. We should do that one. I didn't color correct it. I didn't know how to color correct, but now I do. But it kind of works with the video because it's kind of supposed to be gray and like whatever. So yeah, I'll give you a little back-end info. It's funny because I actually work in an office now part-time. It's so funny. If my office friends saw this. So I was in Hawaii and I was like, oh, I'm going to channel the land and write like a nice spiritual, like happy song for once. And it is quite a powerful, like nice, happy song, right? And it's interesting because rap is usually like about like drugs and money and like slaying biatches and, you know, whatever. But I wanted to write a medicine music, like happy rap about like consciousness and the expansion of consciousness and stuff like that. And so, yeah, this is what came about. And I worked with Eric on this one as well. I went to the studio for this one. And yeah, the concept was really simple, but I think it worked really well. Like basically, I gathered some of my friends and some of my actor friends, and I rented out this little office space in like the Pan Pacific, like downtown, like next to the hotel. There's like this office area, and no one was there, so we had the whole place to ourselves, and it was really fun. And I hired this camera guy. What's his name? He's actually really good. Peter Basil from Baza Films. He was really great. My friend's store, a store in Jupiter, provided some of the fashion, and it just worked out really well. And we essentially like the plot is like I get taken over by this force, and I start ripping off my clothes and like breaking out of the matrix, and I touch people like on the shoulder, and then the force comes into them, and then they start ripping off their clothes, and we all like escape our office life and go to the park, and we have a water fight, and it was really fun. Let's watch it.
Flowing with the motion of the notion that we stars, moving with the motion of the ocean who we are, extending what we stand through the Milky Way and Mars. On a mission we've been pushing for the indigo and high. Watching through the media, stand with the doom like control criminal. Don't care about you, killing each other for mercurial magic. Mother waking up and say you have to choose. Realize you are the source of your power. Share light, you have the right to stay true. Unify, mind, body, our spirit, soul. We rise, the consciousness for us all. Realize you are the source of your power. Share light, you have the right to speak truth. Unify, mind, body, our spirit, soul. We rise, the consciousness for us all. Don't trust the egos and distract the minds. Working all day to seek freedom online. Demonic rhythms say do not be kind. Mother, wake up and now you have to shine.
Shine, you're divine by design. So connected, stars so aligned. One with the all, yet one of a God. Deep inside, seek and you'll find. It's always been right there within the source of your power. The key to ascension. Transcendent, third dimension. Breaking our chains through collective intentions. Going in with the spirit alive. Squelling dark songs like Orpheus to silence. Rising past the top of the pyramid. Awakening into our truth and fearing. Mass star seed activation, so fan expand through all constellations, blazing rays of love from a cipher straight to the realms of the fairies and cyber.
No one can do it for you. Oh, child, you have to choose. No one can be it for you. Oh, child, you are the you. Realize you are the source of your power. Share light, you have the right to stay true. Unify, mind, body, our spirit, soul. We rise, the consciousness for us all. Realize you are the source of your power. Share light, you have the right to speak truth. Unify, mind, body, our spirit, soul. We rise, the consciousness for us all.
So that's that. Thank you, Conduit Streams. It was a fun one, honestly. It worked out really well. Everything just kind of worked out well. I wish I had corrected, but I've learned to edit over the years by making mistakes. But oh yeah, and my friend, native New Yorker, 444. I met him on Instagram in this like spiritual chat, and I loved his voice. And I was like, "Do you want to rap?" And he's a rapper in New York. And I was like, "You want to rap?" And he sent me this amazing rap, and it just worked out really well. And I was like, "Can you make a video for it?" And so his sister and him went to like the Brooklyn Bridge, I think. I don't know, one of the bridges, and just like made some cool stuff, and it just worked out really well. So yeah, you don't have to be limited to limited to time or space. We're free, baby. Okay. Well, I mean, we're kind of stuck in time, but if you meditate, you can kind of travel to different areas in time. Anyway, yeah, it was a good one. I don't know. I feel kind of embarrassed singing that one because I feel like it's so like lovey and stuff. But maybe people need to hear that kind of stuff. You know, like you like literally like you're the source of your power. We think like, oh, money will bring us stuff, and then we're gonna get all that stuff, and then we're gonna be complete, or like we need that certain partner, and then we're gonna be whole. But it sounds so cheesy, but it really does come from within. It comes from the heart. And when we connect to the heart and we learn to like move out of the lower chakras, not that they're bad, but we can't stay there. And we can't like stay in our mind. If we really center ourselves in our heart, we recognize that's where our love comes from. It doesn't come from outside. People aren't giving us love. When we have the courage to open our hearts and actually share that love, that's when we feel love. And I don't know, music helps me feel that, you know. It makes me feel safe to express love. I think that's why I make art too, because I was like so suppressed and told to like shut up all the time and not stop crying, and like I was so suppressed. I would like create art just to get my emotions out, because my mom would like, you know, get mad at me if I was scream too loud and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a safe space for me. The office scene was great. Yeah, I know, it was fun. It was like my best friends too, along with my some actor friends. I'm so happy I have friends who support me, and I'm like, they're like into it. They're like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I'm like, so you're gonna strip off your clothes? They're like, okay, as long as I'm not naked. I'm like, no, nothing like that. I was going through a kind of I don't know, I was going through my like tough girl phase. I had like shaved both of my sides of my head. I thought I looked kind of weird and like masculine, but I was like, I guess I'm kind of non-binary. I don't know. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Oh, okay, back to center. Oh my god. Okay, this video is the best. Okay. Before we get into it, there's a lot to preface here. Make some popcorn, you guys. I also didn't produce this. This one was made a long time ago, so I didn't produce it. I produced like the rough cut, and then my Vardy, the guy who I work with a lot, he like made it way better and mix mastered it and stuff. And I did the vocals though, and the writing. And it's about, I really had issues. I still have issues with like being vulnerable in relationships, and like actually learning to open your heart and love someone and let someone in. And I'm like a runner. I like get overwhelmed, and I get so stubborn, and I'm like, you know, you're not the right person for me. I'm not feeling what I want. You're not giving me what I want. But it's like, are you putting it, I'm talking about myself. It's like, are you putting in the work to actually create what you want? Like, are you just being selfish? And like, I was having this issue with my partner, and I just felt like I couldn't open my heart, and I was like kind of like drifting off into my fantasies. I used to have issues with my fantasies. Like, I still have fantasies, but I got them under control. I don't like feed them too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's kind of about that. And then in the music video, I'm the same way. I know. I think it's I don't know, you should check your birth chart if you have lots of Pisces in your chart. It's like you live in your fantasies, and it's great for art, but it can be challenging for life, because like not everyone dreams like that, and they don't feel those emotions. Maybe they do, but maybe not as intensely, or they don't like feed into them. But yeah, so also I was in this really toxic, codependent, like trauma bond relationship with this person. We weren't technically together. I was like Pisces sun. Oh my god, so that's why. Sag moon, Saturn Pisces as well. Yeah, that makes sense. My moon's Pisces, so yeah, I'm always dreaming, but I don't like, I channel it into my art now. I don't like let it ruin my life anymore. Like, try not to. I just get so excited when I feel certain emotions, and like I start like when I feel love, just when I fall in love with people, I fall in love with people quite intensely. When like I meet other people like me or other aliens like me or like whatever, I'm like, I just like I'm like, oh my god, like imagine us doing things together. That's like so Pisces. um, yeah, and I was in this really toxic relationship with someone. He was actually cheating on his girlfriend with me. He kept telling me he was gonna break up with her, and then I was like, well, why don't you just break up with her and be with me? Like, I'm in love with you. And he's like, yeah, I'm in love with you, but I'm in love with her. He was a total player. He was playing me, and he broke my heart. And like years later, like I saw him. He was like talking to my sister. He was like, you know, I hurt her a little bit, but she hurt me so much. He's like so narcissistic that he doesn't even know what he does to people. But yeah, whatever. It's in the past. It did affect me a lot, and so one of the characters in the music video is definitely based on him, or like the cheating in the video. It's kind of based on my life and some of the dark things I've done. Let's just watch it. And oh yeah, okay. I had this big film party. It was like a Halloween party, and we all got together. I hired some guy off Craigslist to film, and he left the camera running the whole time, so it was kind of, I don't even know where the footage is. I hope I have it still somewhere. I think maybe on a Google Drive. But he left the camera running the whole time, so we got footage of the whole party. I hired some actors, and we just banged it out in one day. I wasn't very good at editing though, so I like got nervous and I took it down. And my editor friend was like, "Yeah, I don't know, it could be better." And I was like so mad. And then I put it up, and I took it down, and I put it up again. It used to have so many views, but yeah. It's kind of trippy now. I don't know. But amazing to hear you speak about it, though. The idea of channeling it into art. Yeah, 100%. You need an outlet if you're filled with that much creativity and fantasy. It's like, it feels so good to get it out, or else you can't keep it inside. Do you write or make art or anything? Like, how do you get it out? We'll play it now.
Trying to find myself in pieces of you. There's nothing else I want to do. I see your eyes and your smile, and I know they're mine. If I meet you on the other side, well, it'll be fine. An angel calling, name is
Um, it was what it was. Yeah, I was really inspired by Grimes, so I was probably like trying to find my style and like mimicking her a little bit. And people are like, "You're so much like Grimes," and I'm like, "Oh my god, shut up!" Like, I'm another blonde fairy girl. Like, get over it. But I get it. It's a compliment. I'm not gonna lie. Grimes was a major influence for me. Like, 100% as a female producer, I was like, I had no idea women could do that. Just like get up there and do all that crazy technical stuff, and I was like, that I want to be doing that. So she was a major inspiration for me, and she's a dragon and 88. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. But yeah, and you mimic people kind of until you find your own style. So I was kind of definitely singing kind of like more like mystical. She's Pisces. I was like dreamy. But yeah, I hate it when people compare me to Grimes, but it's also a compliment. Now I think my style is like much different. I still do that kind of like fantasy, kind of pop, kind of sweet, kind of cartoon almost style. Like it's something I like to do. And it's not just Grimes. Like, I mean, it's kind of like lots of people, lots of different artists do that, but she's like very known for it. But yeah, I think I do, I don't know, like I think my singing's more, I think I like have a jazzy style, and then I have like kind of an elven falsetto kind of like shamanic style. I don't even know, whatever comes up. Thank you. Makeup. Yeah, it was fun. Oh yeah, the makeup, the body paint. I was like, yeah, my makeup was pretty good, but the body paint. What was her name? Oh, I can just look it up here. 1 second. Jennifer Little. She's Capricorn, so she's like all about the body and stuff like that. She was great. She's pretty famous here in Vancouver, and she does like crazy Halloween makeup and like drag and everything, and she like totally transformed me. I was like, I want to be like this elf, like serpent alien, and she had like prosthetic ears for me, and she like had this crazy snake skin, I think she had lace or something, and she's airbrushed like lace, so it looked like snake skin all over me. It took like hours. It was amazing. And the guy who was filming me, the guy who I hired off Craigslist, was like, he was into anime and stuff, so he didn't mind, but he was like, I didn't know you were gonna be naked. I'm like, surprise. So he kind of got a surprise. You never know what's gonna happen when you work with people. Let's check out what's next. I'm having fun. I wish more people would come hang out. Rise of the Raven was pretty like intense. It's like really long. Maybe we'll just do this one. So yeah, the next one we're gonna do is Taste This Cat. And cat is obviously referencing like pussy. And I wrote this as a joke, kind of. Some of my best songs I write as a joke. Like I try to like follow like a very traditional rap formula. And I was really into Doja Cat at the time, and I was like obsessed with her, and like the song rules. Like I was like, whoa, she's such a badass. Like, oh my god. So I was like, I went to a trance, and I was just, yeah, I made the song, and I was like trying to get my friend to rap on it. Like I wrote the lyrics, but he rapped on it, and we turned him into like a robot voice. So I'm like, okay, come over and we're gonna make you into a robot. And I had my green screen set up in my living room. Like I went to an actual green screen studio to film most of it, and my partner helped me film it. That's why it's like okay, but yeah, the editing's pretty good. And then my friend who sang and acted in it, Buck Money, he we just set up a green screen in my house and filmed like the android part, and we just had such a blast editing it, and he helped me edit it. So let's watch it. And it's a like it's really dirty, but there is an underlying message of like, you know, once again, like these men are trying to like have, you know, sleep with you, but it's like, well, what are they trying to get? They're trying to get this light, right, that they have forgotten how to create. So it's like we have this light within us, and they're paying us all this money to try to sleep with us or whatever, but it's like you can't buy that light. You have to create it. So there is an underlying message of women empowerment if you look for it. and it's just kind of funny and like hilarious. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be like an android kind of like vibe.
Wanna lick this pussy, wanna taste this cow, wanna make it purr. Wanna ride that bull, I love him down even with the fur. You know the music rides all up inside you, can't stay still. Only thing you know is I got what you want, I'm the drug that makes you feel. When it's like to get real high, splish fast, getting wet tonight. You think you're in control, but who's got the power? Rising up to greet me with lips. Can't get enough of these hips. What you paying for? What you get buy? Pretty girl between these thighs.
He said it tastes like honey, and he wanna give you money, cause you make him feel control, even though he doesn't know. Why he addicted to the nectar, wanna serve his cream with Chester strips, expensive cars, you know that you're going far.
Making sure you know just what you're doing when you're playing with the fire that used to put you at, send you 6 feet underground. When you make it to the top of the game, you'll have nothing but your name and the men you can slay.
Wanna lick this pussy, wanna taste this cow, wanna make it purr. Wanna ride that bull, I love him down even with the fur. You know the music rides all up inside you, can't stay still. Only thing you know is I got what you want, I'm the drug that makes you feel. When it's like to get real high, splish fast, getting wet tonight. You think you're in control, but who's got the power? Rising up to greet me with lips. Can't get enough of these hips. What you paying for? What you get buy? Pretty girl between these thighs. It was all a game, it was all a show. I'm gonna go for you. Praise the God you're here in your mind. You know it's not so kind. Get high on money and power. Wait till you're gonna be free. Step down from your tower. I'm the one they wanna see. Wanna lick this pussy, wanna taste this cow, wanna make it burn. Wanna ride that bull all up and down, even with the fur. You know the music rides all up inside you, can't stay still. Only thing you know is I got what you want, I'm the drug that makes you. Wanna lick this pussy, wanna taste this cow, wanna make it burn. Wanna ride that bull all up and down, even with the fur. You know the music rides all up inside you, can't stay still. Only thing you know is I got what you want, I'm the drug that makes you feel.
Menu and slay. Sounds like menu. Okay. Yeah. Namaste.
Oh my god, that makes me so happy. Like my friend Ken, who's Buck Money, I invited him over to record the rap and stuff, and we were like drinking wine, and you know whatever, and we got the lyric that was like men you enslaved, like the men you enslaved. We couldn't get over the fact that it sounded like menu, like you're menu enslaved, like you're like a fat kid, and you're like menu enslaved, and you like love eating food, and it was we were just like dying, and I don't know if what we were smoking that day, but it was like it was so funny. So I kept a little bit of our laughter, and I thought that was really funny. Yeah, it was a fun one. It was like ridiculous. Yeah, let's see what else. those two, I can do that one. Okay, this is a music video that I get a lot of happy you're here. I get a lot of flack for, like, people are really mean about it. My voice is weird in it. I'm singing kind of like an opera voice. It's not quite an opera voice. I don't have an opera training or anything, but it's like it's just what came out, and it's not really like auto-tuned or anything. It's just my voice. It's pretty much in tune, but it's just what I was saying. It's just what I was fucking in the mood for. And I was like obsessed with this person once more, and I was just like singing my heart out. This was a song I wrote a long time ago. It was kind of like a medicine song. It was like just kind of sweet about the moon, and like I've always been very connected. I mean, all women were connected to the moon on our cycles, but I was like you know, when you kind of send your energy up to the moon on a beautiful night, and you can like feel the presence of the moon, and, like, it was just like nice. And also the story is like, okay, I was like, okay, there's a dragon, and she's been sleeping for thousands of years or like centuries, and she wakes up and she finds her lover, right? You wake up one day in the dream that is life, and you realize that you're with your best friend, or you know, you can appreciate the person you're with, or you meet someone and you just like, you're so happy to be alive because they're alive at the same time, and you know that they're soulmate, and you're just so appreciative of their existence. That's what this song's about, kind of. Anyway, catchy chorus, that one, yeah. That one's really fun to sing too and rap. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so this is a special song. I actually spent a lot of money mixing it with Vardy. I spent like so much money mixing it, and one of my friends, well, his code name is Michael Webb, but he makes all this crazy epic, like almost like soundscapes for video games, like really epic like sound journeys and stuff like that. And he made like I made like the electronic part, but then he made the like epic, like Viking almost sounding music, and I did kind of want it to have that kind of feeling of epicness. And I had my like, I don't know, my like, I was growing out my shaved head, and I was kind of Viking kind of look, I guess. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do kind of a Viking thing, and I wanted to have like fairy vibes, so I had this like fairy outfit, and I ordered all these things off of Wish. They took so long to come, and I wanted this like darkness, so I was like wearing latex and stuff. And I got my two friends. The guy who made the music, he's in it too, like the shorter scientist guy. He's in it along with one of my best friends, Jeremy. They're like the scientists studying me, and it's all, the plot was like, I should really like show you the screenplays at one day because they're so funny. It's like, enter demon lair, spaceship. The plot was like, okay, I wake up, I'm an alien or something, obviously, and I get taken on this ship and I get studied, or, you know, yeah, or even like a human being studied by aliens. But yeah, I was an alien or this entity, and they're studying me, they're doing experiments on me, and then they send me to Earth, and I work through my traumas, and I use my powers for good or whatever. And the person, I work with these guys, Adam and Trevor, to film it. We're like a team. And the filming guy was like, so you're not gonna use your evil witch powers to take, oh my god, to take over the world or something. You're gonna use them for good. And I was like really excited while we were filming outside, and I was like, oh, maybe energy can come off the plants and everything can come alive. He's like, well, we'll see what we can do. I get overwhelmed. But anyway, there's some indoor stuff. We went to a green screen room, and then some outdoor stuff. But it was shot in like 5K or something like that, which is intense. I've never had any video shot in that much. And I usually edit things, but since my computer couldn't even render at that quality, I let him edit it. And it's kind of not 100% my style. But that's what happens when you give up creative control. So yeah, it is what it is. I think I could have done a better job if I had just chosen to render it at 1080p and like, I don't know. You can't regret things, like whatever. But we'll watch it. Is it kind of cringy? I don't know, like whatever. Oops. One second. Okay.
Doors are open. When will you come inside? Travel through eternity. Thoughts spinning silently. Travel for centuries.
That's it. That the DP was like, yeah, and your hand will go up at the end. I like to like let people have their input. The first part I wrote out quite a bit. And then the last part I'm like, yeah, she goes to Earth and she just like finds herself. Like, and I was asking for people for advice. And they're like, I don't know. Yeah. So and the guy was trying to tell me like, you need to know the meaning of your art. Like, you know, people ask you, it's like, you don't think I think about the meaning of things. Sometimes I just act dumb to see what people's responses are. That's a very Pisces thing to do. It's like, it's like, what are you gonna say? And like, we're shapeshifters. We just do turn into whatever people like want us to be to like get information out of them. It's very sneaky. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Now looking at that music video, I actually like it. It is what it is. It's kind of weird. I was like doing my weird like martial arts energy stuff. It's very odd, but I like it. It is what it is. You can't get attached too much about things. Yeah. Let's see. Really intense ones. Let's see what else. My new ones. We see my new ones. Everyone's seen my new ones. Okay, we have that one. That's like the newest music video, which is. That's basically it, like for music videos. But other songs I have here that are worth mentioning. Oh yeah, Heyoka. That's a good one. Let's do Rise of the Raven. This is a song that I went to a really epic trance to create. And I think it's honestly like beautiful. Like it's not for everyone. But if you like close your eyes and you really let it take you, it'll take you to the fairy underworld and it will take you on a trip and back. Oh my god, I ate too much sugar. I got like a heart pain. hear? If I turn down the music, does it turn it down? Like, does you know what I mean? Does the volume work, or does it just stay the same? Because if I can turn it down and up, then I can talk while it's on. Does it go down when I turn it down like this, or is it still the same? Well, it seems to work. Yeah, I can see the volume like registering different. Like, can you hear me too right now? Or is it, you know what I mean? Okay. I'll do a tarot reading. So yeah, I asked for the new moon in Libra. You can't really see because settings are weird, but I got the 7 of Swords. Honestly, it looks bleak, you guys. Just kidding. It's this guy, and he's got a mask on, and he's holding like a sword, and he's got like dragon feet. I don't know if he's pointing at the water, or if he's like resigned, or he's given up, or he's like humble. But anyway, there's rock behind him with a bunch of swords and a white bird flying off into the sun, and a bunch of like dark birds. So wish you could see it better, but wait, maybe I can get it right. No, the lighting's just too weird, but yeah, you can kind of see the swords and stuff. Let's see what it means. This has been a pretty potent it's been a pretty potent time. Potent. It's been a pretty potent time. Swords are like intellect, and Libra rules the mind and stuff too, and communication and relationships. So maybe it's like taking off your mask. I don't know. 7 is like inner reflection. So maybe doing some of that in order to heal your relationships. Let's find it. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Can you see the picture more here? See, like, oops. The guy's like at the bottom and the bird's flying off. Yeah. It says, he hides his face behind a mask. Ooh. That's kind of appropriate for our society. Ooh, the color is so pretty now. Ocean. He hides his face behind a mask, shrouding his true nature. And he smirks in a rather satisfied way that he has managed to steal one of the swords that the Swan Guardian oversees. He thinks the Guardian is oblivious, but she is in fact watching him with one eye over her shoulders. She knows and recognizes his nature. The blackbirds descend upon him and sidle close. What have you got there, shiny bauble, shiny bright, they demand, drawn to the sullen gleam of the blade that he has taken. He turns his back to them as well, for he is the cleverest blackbird to have been able to draw this sword from the stone. The 7 of Swords represents an attempt to escape responsibility. Oh, it is a thief who tries to make away with what is not his. Oh, shit. He dishonorably tries to keep everything for himself and is two-faced to those who attempt to approach. The result of such an outlook on the world is uncertainty. For if one is untrustworthy, then why risk having faith in others as well? Deception breeds distrust and a pessimistic viewpoint. So, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, like, just like a couple of years ago, when I was talking about, I was like so mistrustful of everybody because I was doing deceitful things. I was like cheating on people, or like, you know, going out with people in relationships, and like not really cheating on people, but like breaking up with my partner and going out with other people and just like not being truthful about my emotions and trying to like play people and just kind of lying to myself about what I wanted. And I just didn't know how to heal myself. I mean, I did, but like I had traumas that were harder to work with, and I just was kind of living in illusion. And when you're in that state, that's what you see in everyone else, right? So it's like if you don't trust yourself or trust other people, like how can you trust other people? So I think maybe this is about kind of letting go of the lies and looking at yourself for what you truly are, and maybe going like, well, you know, maybe I'm blaming other people for my circumstance. Maybe I actually have to take responsibility and recognize that I created this situation and I can create something else. Like, we can wake up in this dream and recognize that we chose our situation, you know, with our vibration. We are we're not in control of everyone or other people, but we are magnetizing what we want to us. And life is not easy all the time. Like, I don't know about you or anyone watching, but you never got the Seven of Swords before. Yeah, all the swords are kind of tricky. I don't know about you, but I've had trouble just kind of taking care of myself in this life. Like, it's just hard sometimes to like navigate and like make money and do all your creative stuff. It's like, it's a lot. We do need each other, and it's okay to reach out for help and ask for help, but we have to be honest with ourselves. You know what I mean? And I think like guidance is always there. The love's always there. The answer's always there. We have to be willing to do the work, to clear space, to actually receive the information. And sometimes it's right in front of our face, or we already have it, right? So I think maybe this is getting clear, removing our metaphorical mask and the two-faced lies that we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel good, and actually get really clear about what we want. And it's like, okay, well, when we're creating retrograde in Libra, maybe this is a time to really think about your relationships and what you really want. And maybe you're lying to yourself. Like, maybe you do have what you want and you're just like, you don't want to put in the work, you know what I mean? Or like, maybe you do want something else. Maybe you do want to leave, but you're just scared or whatever. You got to follow your heart. It takes courage. It's hard. Yeah. That was fun. Should do more. Should ask, if you want to ask me, want me to ask you, answer a question, that'd be fun. I'll play a few more songs and see if there's anything else. There's Hyoka, Ecstasy. But yeah, Rise of the Raven, I'll talk about that just for anyone watching the replay too, if anyone's interested too. Like, the Raven is my Native American zodiac, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I didn't realize then, but now I'm studying alchemy, and the Raven is like a bird that goes into the underworld and like helps people, like take souls back up to the light. And I was like, oh, that's so suited, because the song is about journeying into the underworld, like the fairy world, and like deep in nature, and like going back up to the earth. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that, but maybe I subconsciously did or something. What else? We see my new video. Maybe we'll save that for last. I do want to talk about the ecstasy one. And yeah. So we'll let it load for a second. You Are My Ecstasy is the title track off my, the lighting's really good now. It's like orange. It's the title track off my second EP. They're not called albums unless they're over 8 tracks or something. I did. Good, yeah, and hitting all the nails on the head. Yeah, totally. Hope so. It's a title track because I thought it was a good track, and I was trying to create trance. I am still new to producing, but I'm getting better at it. I'm definitely getting better at creating like good melodies and making things more epic. my vocals were kind of dreamy in this, but I did have them professionally mixed and stuff. But this was kind of about like running away from love, and I have this idea that for video, I never ended up making it, but I was like, it was gonna be like a Western cowboy vampire video. Yeah, and it's just about like running away from love and then having someone take you in and tell you like, I love you so much, and like being breathed back into life, essentially. Hi, Tontinsky. So yeah, let's check it out. I think it would really benefit from a music video though, like something epic. It's a pretty epic song, and you know what I mean?
And you feel like the darkness that I once thought was my home. You gave me life, you gave your life, and then I was only darkness and you hardly saw.
Okay. Oh my god. Good. I haven't listened to them in a while. I didn't know. I found them though. Let me. Let's find them. Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna go down memory lane. When I first started making music, I just played with samples. They're kind of muddy all over the place, but yeah. This is how it all began. This was from like definitely like 7 years ago. I would get really like, I'd smoke a lot and like just go into other realms and stuff. Okay, the one I really want to listen to is My Boyfriend is an Alien or something like that. Like, oh my god, there's so many funny songs. Okay, also, by the way, that last song, the You're My Ecstasy song, I took a production course by Armin van Buuren, who's like my favorite producer. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna freaking make epic trance music. My music is getting better, but it like, he kind of showed me how like trance music, like the structure of it, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And like, he explained how there's like the bridge where it's like, oh my god, the moment before like the epic like release, and like it's like you're there and it's like the elation, and then it's like the climax and stuff, and it's very like sexual the way he explained it, but it makes sense in music, right? And I do have a production course if anyone's interested in Interstitoria or Udemy, Psyberfairy, or Christina Martin. But okay, we'll try to find this song. Okay, I know they're in here, along with some stuff. I have no idea what they are. Probably just like weird recordings of like my obsessions. Obsession, okay, if you're an obsessive person like me or you're OCD, you can turn that into a gift if you learn to channel it into your passions, and then you can become really good at things. Okay, this is a good one. Let's play this one. Let me know if you can hear it. It's actually like good if it was mixed. Be Still My Beating Heart. Oh my fucking god. I'm gonna like cry. That was actually really beautiful. Like, I'm sure it could be better, like production wise. It could be like, you know, the sounds could be better. We could add, we could do stuff to it, but like, oh my god, that was like so beautiful. I'm gonna re-release that. Thank you. Oh my god, that was so good. It could be like such a like cool little like song. It's so pretty. I just love it. That's an invocation for Inanna, or Ishtar, like the Queen of Heaven. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, let's try to get some cringy ones going though. I knew that one was going to be kind of interesting or good. Like, oh, that was so beautiful. Like, frick. I don't know how it sounded over the speakers, your speakers, but it was pretty good. I liked it. Okay, I want to find the alien song, like My Boyfriend's an Alien or something. Oh, here, I found it. Okay, get ready.
is blessed, and my heart is full of love. Sometimes I wonder if I left you up above. Want to be with you. Please land your ship now. I can't stop missing you. Please, no one's around. It gets lonely here, trying to fill the hole in my heart with shopping and chocolate and television shows, but nothing does the trick now. To hold your hand, please land your ship now. My heart is aching, so please, no one's friendly. He won't even mind that my boyfriend's an alien from the sky. I need to feel your touch. Please land your ship now. I need to look in your eyes. Please come home. My boyfriend's
Okay, that was intense. The best part was, my dog is so friendly, he won't even mind that my boyfriend's an alien from the sky. I was like praying for the aliens to come to me. I was like so depressed. I was like sad and lonely. I was like, please just come. Like, I know you know I'm here. Just come land your ship now. Oh my god, that's nuts. Okay, we'll find another one. This is way too funny. We're not gonna play that some really old ones. They're kind of messed up. Okay, this one's actually pretty good. Supreme Deity. It's for Shiva, I think.
A supreme deity, a transformation who represents the highest self.
I made my boyfriend at the time go into the woods with me and like film a music video. Anyone who's with me like works for me. I try to hire real people now. No, not that they're not real, but you know what I mean, other people. Because going into business with your partners is sometimes sketchy and it ruins relationships. Like, just film me. All my boyfriends are like, my arm is hurt. I'm so tired. I don't want to film you anymore. I'm like, just fucking do it. Like a warlord. That one was actually good. It was mixed really poorly, but it was, you know, the heart was there. Okay, let's find some ooh! I'm interested to hear this one. I don't know the lyrics. I don't remember this one, but I know it's kind of pretty. Takes you away. My music was definitely more dreamy back in the day. Like less mechanical. Oh, the kick. It needs to be so much stronger.
I look into your eyes and I don't say a word. light all around us, shifting, moving, dancing, swaying, swimming, transformation, mimicking the movement of my heart. You enter me gracefully, and I can see us flowing, tripping, dreaming, weaving what we see. Echo of the stars. Heavenly bodies collide, forming a pathway. You enter me gracefully, and I can see us flowing, tripping, dreaming, weaving what we see. Echo of the stars. I can no longer hide this glowing light inside. My eyes are wide, my heart is young, my soul is old, my mind it grows, my words they flow from deep below. Echo of the stars. I can no longer hide this glowing light inside. My eyes are wide, my heart is young, my soul is old, my mind it grows, my words they flow from deep below. Echo of the stars.
That was pretty, but it was kind of muddy, the sounds. It just was like, yeah, I don't know. Let's try to find more. Let's try to find interesting ones. Okay. Mm. Okay. I wish I could find my old drum and bass song. It's so good. Okay, this one's actually really good. I love this song. I should remake the song. I mostly made it with samples too. This is about like weed. Crash Bandicoot.
When you're inside me, the sun, you know it shines brighter than what you call.
Wow. Insane! I love that song. I should remake that song too. Inanna one and the High song, I should remake them. Holy balls. That was amazing. I had just gotten out of a relationship with this extremely narcissistic, autistic person. He had like no regard for anyone else's emotions, and he abused psychedelics 100%. And he reminded me of people in my childhood, so I was like healing traumas with him. We had a trauma bond. And like I finally had the courage to be like, get out of my life. You are literally abusing me. And I was like living on my sister's couch after a long-term relationship. I didn't know how to take care of myself hardly. And I was like, okay, now I can finally be free to just get high and make music and do what I want without this person like fucking invading my life and just like sucking my life force and like trying to control me and putting me down, even though I'm the one doing all these amazing things. Like I probably needed a reality check in some way, and he probably helped me in some way to like with my ego or whatever. But holy crap, it was intense. But yeah, I wrote that song after getting out of that relationship. With like, I was so mad at this person for so long. But in reality, I should have just been like, okay, well, I shouldn't have let him in. But it's interesting in relationships because it's like you get so triggered and then you freeze and you want to say things but you can't, and then you just let people like abuse you sometimes, and it's so overwhelming. But yeah, you learn from it. Anyway, I love that song. That was amazing. Let's try to find some more treasures from the vault. Oh, this is kind of a good one, but oh, this one is good. I wrote this with my ex-fiance. I mean, I think I made him sing on it. It's like really kind of pretty. Let's see. I also made him film a music video. I don't know if it worked out or not. My partner's ukulele is in it, I think. you. That was really cute.
Then I turned away, and so did you. You waited for me, and I ran to you. This world is all for you. I smile at everything you do. Thank you for walking through my dreams. This is happiness, it seems.
I got like goosebumps all over. Oh, I'm gonna cry. It was like we're so cute. Okay, me and my partner came back from Asia. This was my ex-fiance. We were living at my friend's house in Burnaby in BC, Canada. And I wrote this. We were like staying in a spare room. I wrote this and we were like recording it in the spare room, and I was like set up in the living room like editing, and I was like recording little bits of my song like with a little like box around me to like block out the noise or something. And I remember like doing the reverb all cool. I was like a little high or something, or whatever. And it was and then we went to Winnipeg, me and my partner, and we like filmed a little bit. And it was like an elf song. I'm like, yeah, it's like we're elves in the forest, and it's like a nature song. Anyway, it was super cute. I like it. It was super cute. Okay, this is another song that might be really good. An old one. Well, it's like a guitar song, and then I made it into a trance song. It's actually pretty lit.
Inside.
Okay, this was actually a trance song first, and then I made it into a guitar song. I remember now. I remember producing this and feeling so transcendent. If I worked on this or like got someone to work on a little more production and mix it, it could potentially be quite a hit. I don't know. I like it. I think it's powerful. It's about like tantra and kundalini energy and like just feeling connected to someone. Okay, in Cambodia, I was teaching English. I stayed at this school, and it was like pretty minimal, like luxuries there. Like I slept on it was like this. Okay, I had a bed, but it was like literally like a board and a mattress like this thin. There were spiders like this big on the wall. We had no hot water, but it was so hot. There were weddings for like 7 days straight. There was like roosters cawing like at 6 a.m. There was like cows wandering around and like my point was, oh yeah, I had a big crush on one of the teachers. He was Pisces, and I was like overwhelmed. Like when I have a crush on people, I get so overwhelmed, and I'm like, oh my god. And I wonder if they can like see my insides, because like I see other people's insides, and I get like guarded, and I'm like, oh, I don't want you to know that I have a crush on you. And I like wouldn't look at his eyes because I didn't want him to like see inside me, and I didn't want people to have control over me, and I just didn't want to make that connection yet. I just get so overwhelmed with my emotions, but I think I probably wrote a little bit of that song about that experience. Actually, that experience was so intense for me. Maybe it wasn't even the person. Maybe it was just like the feelings, right? Maybe the person triggered feelings. I actually wrote that my erotic sci-fi Luceria about that experience because I didn't know what to do with my lust. Okay, let's see what else. Cyberpunk. Let's see what this one is. Don't remember this. Like slightly. Yeah, it's weird. Let's move on. Let's try to find some actual old ones. Let's see. This is like my newer ones. Ooh. Maybe this is one I was thinking. Oh, that's my Taste This Cat one. Ooh, I don't know what this one is. I'm gonna have to go to the washroom soon. that was kind of intense. I remember that song. I will forgive you to clear myself of karma. Sometimes I imagine that I let you drown. Totally mentally sane. It's this one. They're not working now. Come on. Ooh, this is a good one. Hope it works. Come on. Maybe I'll just refresh the page. Is the internet working? This one is actually good. Oh, if I can get it to work. I guess we'll just play this one. This one's good. found an infamous one that was on SoundCloud. It's called Nebula is Born. You might recognize. I think you'll recognize this one.
I tried my best to move on. I tried my best to move on, but when your eyes meet mine, nebula is born in my body. I start to soar. Fantasy alive. My fantasy is come alive. You and me, chemistry. I can feel it all around us. Stir and breathe in the light.
Okay, that was insane. I'm so happy you told me to look up my old music. That was intense. Maybe I can find one other good one, maybe. Okay, this is the last one we'll do. Actually, I really want to... When will you find my soul and dragon spirit? Okay. Dragon spirit. I know you're there. No lyrics. Where's the lyrics? That song would have been good if it was mixed properly, but it wasn't. It was not mixed properly, and it was a bit messed up. This is the last one I'll play. I was like inspired by Bjork. Intense. I think we'll call it a night. I really have to pee. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and especially Conduit Streams. Thank you so much for being here. That was so fun. You made my night. I can't believe it's insane listening to my old music. It just goes to show, like, anybody, that you just gotta keep going. Sometimes you're gonna make good art, sometimes you're gonna make bad art. It's all good. They're all like they're like so spacey. They're like stoner music. Anyway, I hope you guys have fun. Have a good night. Bye. Thanks for joining. Bye.